Yeah.
Okay,
Woohoo.
awesome. Okay, so this is all about RHA Elections. So what is RHA? So we're the governing body of all residence halls on campus. And this is a really great opportunity. I know most, if not all, I think most of you guys are either in hall council or general assembly. So you already kind of have a feel for what RHA does and the work we do. But so RHA really is all about advocacy on behalf of residents. And, this pertains to both your individual halls, but also the broader campus community. And the e-board definitely focuses on that broader campus-wide initiative aspect, but there are opportunities clearly to do both smaller things and larger things. So planning events, that's what especially the VP of programming works on, writing and passing legislation, really reaching out to other organizations on campus and creating lasting partnerships that really emphasize the importance of community in our residence halls, and then serving as student leaders and representing 5,500 students, which is a lot. And that's a really, really cool opportunity that you aren't granted in many other spaces. So there's a fun picture. So components of the e-board. So we have President, Emma, VP of Administration and Finance, that's what I do, VP of Programming, Bree, VP of Communications and Outreach, Riley, and then we have the VP of Diversity and Inclusion, which Jahan is in right now, and then our Chief of Staff is actually an appointed position, but part of the Executive Board, and that's Jenna. She's not here with us tonight. So really, our main goal is to plan campus-wide events and initiatives. We preside over the General Assembly, and you're elected in the spring, the year before you are in office. So bodies, I'm just gonna kind of go over this quickly, but hall councils, so we have it divided into 7 clusters, and these are really just a great opportunity for smaller programming initiatives on campus. So most of our positions are also existent in hall councils. And yeah, it's also a really cool opportunity. And these positions are elected in the fall. So if you decide that maybe the e-board isn't for you, these are also great opportunities the following year. And then the General Assembly, we have 4 delegates from each hall, and their main goal is really to just write and enact legislation. And there's a lot of collaboration between the e-board and the GA, so that's something to consider as well. So Eboard Elections. So I'm gonna actually have Emma talk about this real quick, just because Emma's a pro, she is doing this right now, and I think she would give a lot of great insight. So Emma, take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, so this is all about the position that I currently hold. So well, you guys know what a president does. They are the chief executive of a body, and so that's RHA. And so I will oversee the RHA functions, the hall, so I am in communication with all the hall councils, as well as the General Assembly. I kind of lead those, well, I preside over those meetings, so I move things along in those meetings. And so I've helped assist with creating programs and initiatives. Speaking of which, the Hall Cup, that's something that's coming up that I've been working on. So it's an example of how even the president can help create and plan things. I'm also have gotten the chance to connect with university leadership. So I talk a lot with the director of housing and residence life, or the 2 directors there. And I've talked with Dr. Fonta Ah, and I also attend Board of Trustees meetings. So opportunities like that to connect with the broader university. And I also get to connect with other campus organizations. So the time commitment, I go to GA meetings every week. I go to executive board executive board meetings every week, and you don't attend hall council meetings, but you do have one-on-one meetings with our advisor, who is currently Katie Foltz. And she works in HRL. So that is the brief overview of the president position.
Perfect. Also, I realized I forgot to take out the whole council part. Alex left that in last year, so yeah, don't have to worry about that. So VP of Administration and Finance. So really responsible for overseeing the budget and the finances. It is a pretty large sum of money we're working with, so making sure that that money is being allocated correctly and fairly, and then making sure it's being spent in good ways and like we're not abusing where the money goes to. And this is also a really cool way to collaborate with the finance committee on the GA. So I feel like no financial decisions are really made solely by me or other members of the e-board. It's very, we're very receptive to feedback and to like getting approval of other members in the GA. And then the big thing I'm doing right now is administering RHA elections. So hall council, GA, and then the Eboard elections. So yeah, just kind of looking over that. And then also just kind of helping out with the parliamentarian's job and making sure that whatever we enact is really like the best legislation we can put forth, and making sure that things are going fairly, and just kind of overseeing like judicial processes. And the time commitment, only 2 meetings per week. So e-board meetings, the GA, and then as Emma described, a one-on-one. And these take like maybe 30 minutes every week. And they're just a way to ensure that, what we're doing is reflective of what RHA should be doing, and just having that connection with our advisor, Katie, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. So Bree, if you want to talk about programming.
Yeah, of course. So like it says on the slides, I have 2 meetings per week. Actually, I have 3 meetings per week because I do GA, Eboard, and then individual meetings with Katie. Additionally, if there's any meetings I have to do with any of the co-sponsors, so like if I have to talk to BSU or AU Pride or RecFit about anything that we do with their events, that also goes into it. But I'm responsible for the overall planning school-wide events. So if anyone saw anything that happened during RHA week this week, especially like the petting zoo and the food truck and that inflatable slide that Barstool was posting about, that was all my work, along with my team who helped me out a lot. So we do a bunch of like annual events like RHA Halloween and AU Lights and then RHA Week, and it's really fun. There's a lot of like planning that goes into it, so if you're a planner, you'll love this, and it's really easy to do. And yeah.
Awesome. So the Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion, unfortunately, Jahan is not with us, but I can go over this briefly. So this is really all about advocacy. So really making sure that RHA is partnering with cultural organizations on campus and making sure that we're really representing everyone, not just the people who come to us for funding. It's like really reaching out to those community members and collaborating on super fun events. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's pretty all encompassing of it. And like I had said before, it's the GA e-board meetings and then the one-on-ones. And yeah. Oh, sorry. So some campaigning.
I think we skipped over comms and
yeah.
Thank you for catching that. Go ahead, Riley.
Okay. So as VP of Communications and Outreach, I manage the communication efforts for the RHA. So whether that be like engaging on social media with more specifically different organizations at AU, putting events on Engage. So that's where you see all the events, and it's where you probably RSVP to this one. I also try to share other organizations' events and promote them, and as well as asking them to share it, kind of just like asking favors for what and whatnot. But one important thing to know about this position, it's really about like collaboration with other organizations, because it's not really like a competition. And it's more so like a group effort to get people involved and create community, and that's what I try to do with like other organizations and groups, and also like answer any questions that that the account gets, because we tend to get a lot of questions about housing, and that's not something that we deal with directly, like housing assignments and stuff. And so I just I either give them the information of another e-board member or like another faculty member that they can contact instead. Also, like I said, managing the social media channels and the website. So the Instagram, for example, create graphics for events or information that we want to share, such as like the info session or different like panel discussions. And try to increase engagement with stories and reposting of our own posts and other posts. The link tree as well, just like updating the links in that, so it's like relevant information that we want to share, and the website too, which is like a universal place where you can find a lot of information regarding the RHA, the eBoard, Hall Councils, and GA members, and just kind of like updating the website with the meeting minutes every week so people can look at that. But yes, also 2 meetings, sometimes 3 meetings. Usually for me, it's like bi-weekly, the one-on-ones, but it's really depending on like what you need and if you need to talk. So yeah.
Awesome. So campaigning, I'm just gonna kind of go over this very quickly, but $30 limit. And there's a Google form to fill out when you spend money. So if you're like printing out, I don't know, flyers or something, you can report that there. You can't give away any like food or anything that would be kind of like a bribe, like clothing, anything like that. It can only be informational. Campaigning continues until elections end, which will be the 19th. So, and then you're not allowed to like specifically knock on people's doors. You're not allowed to go table an MTC or something. You're not allowed to do chalk, and you're not allowed to take down other people's posters. Anything that you post, like flyers that you're going to put in residence halls, those have to be approved by Katie. And yeah, I think most of this stuff is like pretty self-explanatory. I don't anticipate this being an issue, but it ended up being an issue last semester, so I want to make sure that the rules are very clear. And yeah, I don't anticipate this being an issue, but yes, Gifty, go ahead.
Is it possible for individuals to campaign together?
Yeah, I don't see why that would be an issue. I think, yeah, just as long as like as long as it follows this guideline and you're not like handing out t-shirts and you're not like putting them in place, like putting flyers in places you're not supposed to, yeah, that shouldn't be an issue at all. And just another quick thing, I know Katie mentioned this at the GA meeting last night too, but you really cannot put things in elevators, and they will be taken down by housing and res life staff. So if you're gonna put flyers anywhere, just don't put them in elevators. Yeah. And then, yeah, just don't make it negative when it doesn't have to be. I really don't want to have a meeting with anyone about bad campaigning and questionable behavior. So, yeah, this should say my name, but you guys all have my email. I've emailed everyone who has declared. So if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me about that. And then here's just the overall dates to look out for, and yeah, Greta.
I knew for Hall Council there were very specific places we could hang flyers. what about this? Like, can we hang them in any dorm hall? Does it have to be bulletin boards, etc.?
I believe it is bulletin boards only. I did send out, and I know I did for sure send it out to you today. I put in, I believe, 4 attachments, and one of them was residence hall posting regulations. So you can look through that document.
Is Elizabeth frozen for anyone else? Okay.
Yeah.
Want to make sure that wasn't just me. Okay, so what Elizabeth was saying though basically is that you're supposed to stick to the bulletin boards for your own. I believe you'll have to double check this in the regulations, but I'm pretty sure that you are allowed to put something on your own door, like giving information about yourself, because it's your door. And since this is a campus-wide thing, I would believe that you can post in other locations as well, not just where you're currently living, because it's different than in the fall when hall councils were just, within your 1 hall or 2 halls, or for East Campus 3 halls. I hope that answers your question. I am going to, can we declare a run even if we're going to? Unfortunately, you cannot be an RA and be an RHA, just because since we get funding from the same residence hall fee or residence fee, it becomes a conflict of interest technically since RHA as a body deals with finances and everything that we do has some sort of cost. It could possibly be a conflict of interest for the programming that an RA would do for their floor. So that's an unfortunate. I know that I've heard some other people who are RAs who are unable to run, but I appreciate that the question. So Elizabeth is still just having some tech issues. I will start sharing my screen and get to where she was in the presentation. So I will keep going and hopefully just let me know. Where were we? We were at the timeline, right? Why did I do it this way? It's fine. I'm already going. Okay, it was literally the last slide. So this is the timeline. So you can continue to declare until the 8th, which is Friday at midnight, so late. And then campaigning will be the following week, the 11th through the 18th. So you can do, again, following all the campaign rules for anything physical, but you can also just talk to people. That's a great way, word of mouth. And so that's an option as well. And then voting will be the 18th and 19th, which is 2 weeks from now. Hi, Elizabeth, I'm glad you got back. So I think now we can open it up just to any other questions. I can stop sharing my screen just so we can all see each other once I find my mouse. Lovely. Okay, so please feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions, and we'll just go through in the order that they come up. So Kai.
Does once people are elected and they won by the popular vote, do they have to be confirmed by the GA Senate?
Because the way that since the Eboard, they will do a swearing in. They will have they just say an oath, but it doesn't have to go through the same type of process where it gets confirmed. So the final GA meeting, which is the 25th, which is basically the end of year banquet for anyone who's part of RHA right now. Big surprise, we have an end of year banquet. And so that day, the new e-board members would get sworn in, basically. And so I know that all the anyone who's part of RHA before had to do that at some point. They had to do a swearing in. So that's basically it once people are elected. Awesome. Any other questions? I will say that don't be intimidated by like thinking like, oh, I'm not sure if I should run. This seems like a lot. Like personally, I wasn't originally planning on running for president last year. It just happened to work out that way, and I was a little nervous, but I'm really glad of how it turned out. And if you're also worried that you don't feel like you have a ton of experience in a certain area, like for instance, administrative admin and finance, if you never like handled a budget before, you get trained for all of this. We had meetings over the summer, like a couple meetings over the summer, and then we moved in a week early and we attended different leadership trainings. And yeah, we learned how to make a budget and how to program and stuff like that. So if that was also a concern, you will go through training to make the process easier for you. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. I just want to, kind of going off of that to Emma's point, I literally know nothing about finance. I was just really encouraged to apply by one of the old eBoard members. And I'm like, so glad I did. I think it's an extremely valuable experience, and like the teamwork and just like building that campus community and being a face for 5,500 residents is a really, really unique thing. And I don't think a lot of people get to have that opportunity in undergrad. So I definitely think you guys should consider it. And yeah, are there any, didn't look like there were any last questions, but if you do have any, my email is always open, es8095b at american.edu, at student.american.edu. And yeah, anyone, I hope all the eBoard members are okay with me saying this, but I'm sure if you had any questions about specific positions, feel free to email them, and like, that's what we're here for. And yeah, I really think everyone should consider it. And I'm really excited to see everyone's campaigning begin. I know we've gotten some declarations, so
Yeah, and if you want to email us like our student emails, you can also just go to email us at aurha.info@gmail.com, or you can reach out via Instagram. Yeah, as Riley Kate just put in the chat, and she will get back to you. It'll probably be her that'll get back to you, but yeah, hopefully that. I'm going to really quickly drop the link in the chat for anyone who has not yet declared. Once I figure out how to, I shouldn't have had this copied already once I said I was going to do that, but or if someone else from the eBoard could just get that. I don't know why I'm suddenly having difficulties getting it, but I just think that would be helpful for anyone who has not yet officially declared. So.
Riley Kate just put it in the chat, so if you want to declare, feel free to click on that link.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think that's really all. If you have any questions whatsoever, please reach out. I promise we don't bite. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
well, good luck to everyone.
Yes, good luck. We can stick around for just a little bit longer if anyone has like more individualized questions that they wanted to ask, and I can stop the recording.